Hello and welcome to our first match preview episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. The Premier League is finally here. I'm so excited for the upcoming season. Football is back, so it's only right that we do a match preview of Liverpool's first game, and that is against newly promoted team Ipswich Town. But before I begin, please don't forget to like the video and drop your comments in the live chat as the show goes on. If you have any questions, I'll answer the questions towards the end of the show. So let's begin and let's analyze our opponents, which are Ipswich Town. They had a remarkable season, finishing second and only 1 point behind Leicester City, who won the championship last year. So the manager, Kieran McKenna, has brought the good feel factor back to Portman Road, and it's been a while since Ipswich Town were in the Premier League, 22 years to be exact, which was in 2002. So there's a lot of excitement amongst the Ipswich fans, and rightly so. Speaking of the manager, Ipswich Town did really well to keep hold of McKenna at the club, as there was a lot of interest from Premier League clubs, including Chelsea and also his former club, Manchester United, where he managed the under-18s. And they were linked with him in replacing Ten Hag. So he's definitely an up-and-coming coach that needs to be observed and will be able to do that in the Premier League this season. McKenna has added a few additions to his squad. He's signed 8 new players, with one more entering the frame in Calvin Phillips, which was the breaking news earlier today. In terms of the players that they've signed, they've made Omari Hutchinson an Ipswich player on a permanent deal for £18 million, which is a club record. They've also signed Liam Delap from Man City for a fee of £20 million. Muric, who you may be familiar with, who was the goalkeeper at Burnley, they signed him on a permanent deal for £15 million. Jacob Greaves, an up-and-coming centre-back from Hull City, they signed him for £15 million. Ben Johnson got him on a free transfer from West Ham. Connor Townsend from West Brom for £500k. Leon Elliott from Crystal Palace on a free transfer. Darragh McCann from Glentoran, which is an Irish team. So this is the 16-year-old left back. So he's probably signed more for the youth team more than anything else. And the imminent signing of Calvin Phillips, which is a loan deal. Even Ipswich Town are buying DMs and Liverpool are left behind. But it is what it is. But in terms of Ipswich, I think they've made some decent signings here. Ben Johnson is a solid addition to their squad. He's a good option. He's versatile. He can play left back or right back. Muric has Premier League experience from his time at Burnley last season. Delap is an exciting prospect, but acquiring Hutchinson was the deal that needed to be done. He had a fantastic season in the Championship last year, making 44 appearances with 10 goals and 6 assists, and he will certainly play a big part in Ipswich Town's success this season. In terms of their playing style and formation, McKenna normally deploys a 4-2-3-1 formation, and they do play some decent football. They play on a high line, very quick passing around the pitch, and they play on the counter press. So this will not be a walk in the park for Liverpool. It's also an away fixture, so Liverpool need to be focused, and they have to respect the opposition. Ipswich Town have been in good form in pre-season as well. They beat Shakhtar Donetsk, Hoffenheim, and Nice, but lost to Düsseldorf, which ended 2-1. So they're in good shape and they are raring to go, but it's not going to be an easy fixture for the Tractor Boys to begin their Premier League campaign. Liverpool will want to make a statement in their opening game as its new coach, Arne Slot's first competitive game. And surprise, surprise, it's a Saturday midday kickoff. You'd think the FA had forgotten that Jurgen Klopp has left Liverpool. But at least the game is televised, and it's a nice way to start the weekend, depending on the outcome, of course. Pre-season has been great for Liverpool as well, notably the big wins against Arsenal and Manchester United in the US. But the recent fixture against Sevilla was very impressive, and Liverpool fans will be witnessing a different brand of football this season. It won't be heavy metal football, it'll be more high possession, killing opposition with passes, and pressing from the front to cause havoc and hopefully scoring an abundance of goals. That's the aim of the game. But it's been a disappointing off-season from a transfer point of view. Richard Hughes, aka The Notebook, hasn't begun his chapter as sporting director. We're still waiting on signing a player. We've made a couple sales, most notably Fabio Carvalho to Brentford, and Bobby Clark is set to join Red Bull Salzburg. But there are a lot of areas that need to be addressed. Number one target is a defensive midfielder, but I would also say a centre-back and a right winger should also be on the list. We're the only Premier League side that haven't made any signings. Now the clock is ticking for Richard Hughes, as I'm hoping and praying we get some new additions to the squad. But we'll speak about transfers another time. Let's focus on this upcoming fixture. And to begin, we will speak about each team and their team news in terms of availability. So for Ipswich Town, they've got a few injuries to their squad. They've got Nathan Broadhead, Donacien, Humphreys, Harry Clark, George Hurst, all out with injury. But new signings, Delap and Muric, are available for the fixture and are expected to start. With regards to Liverpool, for the first time in a long time, it looks like Liverpool have a fully fit squad, which is a nice start for Arne Slot in his opening game. So what we'll do now, we will predict the lineups for both teams, and then I will present my score prediction. So let's begin with the home team, which is Ipswich Town. So as I mentioned earlier on, they are a team that normally deploys a 4-2-3-1 formation. So we're going to go based on our understanding there. So in goal, it would be Muric, who I believe is expected to start in this game, or Muric, I think is how you pronounce it. So there's a Muric in goal. And then I think Ben Johnson would start at left back, more than capable of playing right back as well. He's naturally right-footed, but for West Ham, he's playing in both positions. So I think for this team, he will probably start on the left, and then you have Tuanzebe, the former Manchester United player. He is naturally a centre back, but for Ipswich Town, he's been playing predominantly as a right back. So I expect him to start in that position for this fixture. And in the centre back pairings, you've got Edmondson, and alongside him will be the new signing in Greaves, who they've just signed from Hull City. Left-footed centre back, can also play left back if required. So a very smart signing there, and definitely one that will help in terms of different tactics going forward, because they might play 4-2-3-1 for many of their games, but they may need to adapt their formation depending on the opposition. So a good player to have in the squad, a profile that Liverpool are looking at, but whether we sign one is another story. In terms of the double pivot, we've got Luongo right there, and alongside him will be Egyptian international Morsi. So that's their double pivot. And Hutchinson is an interesting profile because I think in his days at Chelsea and Arsenal, he played on the right wing. But for Ipswich, he's played as a number 10 on the right and on the left. So it just depends on personnel. So I'm going to go for Hutchinson start in the right wing position. That's the position I think he will start for Ipswich. And then Harness on the left wing. He needs an attacking winger as well. And then going to go for Chaplin, which you could probably tell I'm a very attack-minded person when it comes to setting up teams, because he's a number 10. So this doesn't really present a defensive-minded player, because normally when you play a double pivot and even the number 10 is generally a box-to-box midfielder, he's actually a second striker. So this is just my prediction. I think he may start in this fixture. And then up top, I'm going for Delap. Delap has played on the right in his previous club and also played in his youth days at Man City. But now he's pretty much a striker. So that is my predicted lineup in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Now, I also read as I was doing my research that there's a possibility that McKenna might switch up the formation to a 3-4-3 just to add an extra body in midfield and try and congest that middle of the park, which is a possibility. So let's suggest that that is the case. We can present a 3-4-3 formation, but there will need to be some alterations. So as I mentioned, Greaves is an interesting profile in this formation. He'd be perfectly suited playing in the left-sided of a back three. And then I've got Burns, who normally plays on the right wing / wing back role. So he's very much suited for this formation. And you've got Johnson playing a bit more further up. But I still feel like he can do a good job there. The front three remains as it is. If, for example, McKenna didn't want Johnson to play on the left and wanted a bit more of a sort of a natural left-footed player, what could happen is swap these two, and then Burns is replaced by Davis. Davis is a left wing back, so this could be a sort of alternative personnel, but the formation will remain. I think back three will be the way it is, and then Johnson will play either on the left or the right, and then up top you've got the front three of Harness, Delap, and Hutchinson. So in terms of players to look out for, Harness, very quick winger, so we need to be very wary of him. I tend to cut in and shoot, so I need to make sure we keep him quiet. Delap, interesting to see how he does. I haven't seen too much of him. I've only seen him small cameos here and there. Hutchinson, very exciting player, very skillful, with a lot of flair. So he is clearly the danger man in this team. And you've got Johnson. Johnson's a very hardworking fullback, but he's very tricky in the byline as well. So he's more than capable of producing good crosses from the wing. So yeah, so I would say Hutchinson, definitely the main man, the one to look out for, and Harness and Delap also. Make sure that they're kept quiet, especially Delap. I feel like we need to make sure we cut the service towards the striker, and hopefully we'll get some good luck going forward. So that is my predicted lineup. This is an alternative formation if McKenna chooses to do a 3-4-3. But yeah, the personnel is pretty much the same, just one or two tweaks here and there. So that's my prediction for the Ipswich Town lineup. I'll now present the Liverpool lineup. So 4-3-3 formation. Some could regard as a 4-2-3, which I'll elaborate later on the show. But we'll start off with a 4-3-3 formation. So in goal, Alisson stays. A lot of uncertainty in regards to his future due to the imminent signing of Georgian goalkeeper Mamadashvili. He's not joining the club this year. He'll be joining next year. But it seems like we're sort of future-proofing our goalkeeping department. So by the looks of it, it looks like Alisson could be departing the club in next season or very soon, which is a slight worry. He's only 31 years of age, which is quite young for a goalkeeper. So I would have liked for him to have stayed longer, but right now we're pretty much just guessing and making assumptions. Who knows what the future holds? But as of yet, and as it stands, he is Liverpool's #1 goalkeeper, and he will start in this fixture. Trent will play right back. Some may want him to play midfield. I think right back is his position. And then in the centre back position, obviously Van Dijk is a shoe-in. If he's fit, he's straight into the team. But who plays alongside? Is it Kwanzaa? Is it Kanate? I'm going to give the nod to Kwanzaa. I feel like he looked very decent in the Sevilla game. He made that one error where he gave the ball away and almost cost Liverpool from conceding a goal. But generally, I thought he was defensively really good. In terms of his overall play, I feel like he's a bit more calm and composed on the ball in comparison to Konate. So I feel like this would be a great opportunity for him to start in this game. So for me, I would start Kwanzaa alongside Van Dijk. This may be a surprise, but I would actually start Tsimikas at left back. He looks a lot fitter than Robertson right now. Robertson still looked match fit in the last fixture. He played in the last Palmer's game. Obviously, he's just come back from a small injury as well. So Tsimikas looks like he's raring to go. Looks energetic. He also scored in pre-season. So for me, I feel like he's in good form. So it's probably best to play him at this stage of the season rather than just going for your best 11. Go for form and fitness, especially in the opening month. So I will start with Tsimikas at left back. Now, in terms of the midfield, this is a debatable one. Some would probably say put Gravenberch there. I stick with McAllister. I think it's better to have a midfielder that's a deep playmaker and that can control the game. And I'd rather have Gravenberch playing a bit more further up and using his ball carrying ability to our advantage. So McAllister in the number 6 role, Gravenberch left side at 8, and Szoboszlai on the right side, number 8 role. And then further up, got Mohamed Salah on the right wing. For me, Diaz starts this game. Obviously, he's in fantastic form, scoring a brace against Sevilla over the weekend. So he starts in that role. Who starts up front? Is it Jota, Gakpo, or Darwin Núñez? For me, it has to be Jota. When he's fit, for me, he has to be one of the first names in that front three. Phenomenal striker. That finish he produced against Sevilla was just out of this world. Fantastic left-footed volley. So for me, he starts in this team. So drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the predicted lineup. Do you agree with what I presented here, or would you make some tweaks? Let me know what you guys think. Some would probably argue, say to me, we're not really going to play this sort of formation. It's probably going to switch over to a 4-2-3-1. So what we can do is we can switch over and just sort of show you how the team was set up in a 4-2-3-1. So this is how the team was set up with Gravenberch tucking in alongside McAllister. So he'll be covering this sort of range. McAllister here as well, but dropping deep if required. So he'll be the number 6 that's got a bit more free role, but still needs to be disciplined in order to help with his defensive duties. And so Szoboszlai, for me, will be attacking around this sort of area, having more of a free role rather than what he played last year, where he was covering for Trent on the right-hand side, so took a lot out of his game. And I feel like it hampered his development, in terms of being a top player for Liverpool. And I feel like someone already disregarded him this season as not someone that's going to have any impact. I've got high hopes on Szoboszlai, so I'm sticking by my words in terms of saying that he will be a top player for us. And hopefully this is the season where he can make his name. Salah will play on the right-hand side. Obviously, he doesn't have that hairstyle anymore, but yes, he will be on the right-hand side. I don't think he'll be cutting in as much. I think he will be attacking the byline. That's what he's been doing in pre-season. I think that's how Arne Slot wants him to play. And likewise with Diaz as well, but also coming in field because he's very direct with his shooting. So that would be the way Liverpool would set up. And I think in terms of the fullbacks, they will come quite forward. And let's say Salah's down here, Trent comes, and we lose possession, then you've got McAllister dropping in. And then even if like Tsimikas is there, you've got Gravenberch. So that's the whole point of having a double pivot. They're able to cover ground and cover the fullbacks when they go on mazy runs. And our fullbacks definitely are a bit more attack-minded than the normal team. So I think that will work from a tactical point of view. Now, in terms of potential substitutes that can come on and have an impact, Liverpool are blessed in terms of having quality players on the bench. So for me, the players that I can see coming on, Harvey Elliott, if Szoboszlai hasn't had any impact on the game, I can see him coming on. The number 10 role seems to be his natural role. I feel like he's very impactful in that position. And he's a different style of player in comparison to Szoboszlai, both playing as a number 10. Szoboszlai is more pace and power, and he sometimes overtakes the striker. That's his sort of game, especially on the counter press. Whereas Elliot is more of a neat and tidy number 10, likes to play the ball short and loves to thread through balls, killer passes, and maybe take a shot from distance as well. So good options to have, whether it's Elliot or Szoboszlai. I feel like both players will have a big impact in our season. And for who else would I? So Gakpo would be another player that you could bring on in place of Diaz. Gakpo is also an option for the main striker role, but I feel like for this role, it'd probably be Darwin Núñez who could come on and have an impact, especially if we haven't broken a deadlock, which hopefully that is not the case. But if we need more pace and power, Darwin Núñez is the man to bring on off the bench. In terms of midfield, this is why we're trying to recruit a number 6. We don't have too many options. We do have Endo, but I don't think Arneslot favours Endo in terms of the way we play. Has good or decent distribution, but I think Arneslot wants more of a technician in that area. So in this game, I can see someone like Curtis Jones coming in and playing in a slightly deeper role, kind of like Gravenberch, because Gravenberch, although plays as a number 6 and has done for his previous club, he's a bit more ball carrier, he's a bit more forward thinking. So Jones can come in and easily hold shape in that number 6 role and just keep the ball ticking all over the pitch. He's very disciplined. He is able to do that. So that will still be a good balanced midfield there. And I think that would be the options. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 options there. And if Tsimikas is not having a great game, then you can always bring on Robertson, who will be on the bench. So that's some potential substitutes there, and that could come on and have an impact on the game. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the lineup. I just got a comment here from Richard. He says, "Hi, Ozzy. Assalamu alaikum." Walaikum salam. Richard, he says, "How are you and how is your family?" Many thanks. Everyone's good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for your nice comments as always. Score prediction. So for me, I'm going for a Liverpool win and I'm going for a clean sheet. Even though it's an away fixture, I'm going for a 2-0 victory for Liverpool. And I believe it will be Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah on the score sheet. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think the score prediction will be? Richard has just sent his comment here. He says 3-1 to Liverpool, and he believes Jota and Mohamed Salah will score 2 goals. So interesting prediction there. So hopefully the win is what we need right now. We need to start the season on a positive note. We don't tend to have a great record against teams that have come out of the championship, and we always tend to get the newly promoted teams as our opening fixtures. So hopefully we can break that curse and improve our record in the opening games. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Richard. As always, I always just sent a comment, so let me just read his last comment there. He says, "We need reinforcements and strengthening the squad." Yeah, you know how I feel about the squad, Richard. We need a DM that needs to be done. Even Ipswich Town have signed a DM today. They signed Calvin Phillips on loan. So not saying that's the player I would have wanted, but I want a DM. So if other clubs are signing DMs, why not? And they've spent like 20 million on like a few players here and there. So they've certainly spent money, but Liverpool just don't want to take their wallet out right now, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we do need to strengthen for just over 2 weeks. So yeah, Richard Hughes has a lot of work to do. And Richard also said Ipswich Town will be up for it and ready for the match. They certainly will. This is, I won't quite like to say like a cup final, but because it's their opening game of their season, they haven't been in the Premier League for like 20 odd years. this is the one they would have wanted, a big team, especially at their home stadium, Portman Road. So, yeah, the fans are going to be up for it. I'm expecting it to be an electric atmosphere, despite it being a midday kickoff. So, it'll be very interesting um, encounter. And Liverpool need to be focused, need to give a bit of respect to the team and play their game. Well, we can't be complacent, just thinking, oh, because they're a new team that's just been promoted, they're not going to trouble us. We need to be in our A game. So we need to really start aggressive, get that early goal, and that will definitely help and quieten the crowd and just take it from there. So hopefully get the job done. Richard said we need to be ready for upcoming season. Yeah, we do, but I think we're ready in terms of what we currently have in the squad, but we need new additions, definitely. And you say, can't wait for it to start. Likewise, really excited for the Premier League season to begin. The first fixture is actually tomorrow. Manchester United playing Fulham, so I'm looking forward to watching that. But yes, the Liverpool and the Ipswich Town game, that's the one that I've got noted in my diary. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. FSG ambition is a joke and embarrassment. Yeah, the ambition is not in their vocabulary, Richard, unfortunately. It hasn't been, and as it stands, it doesn't look like it will be, because they haven't shown any sort of proof that they're an ambitious club and they want to take Liverpool forward. It's always a financial game for them. That's why they sign people like Michael Edwards, who is good at negotiating, he's good at getting deals done, he's good at selling fringe players for ridiculous return. So, yeah, so it's a money game for the owners. Which also said we need to fight this establishment of FSG. Where is Liverpool FC money, FSG? Who knows? Who knows? We're selling players right now. We've just sold Carvalho for, it's a 28 million deal, but it's 20 million up front plus 8 million add-ons, 10 million for Bobby Clark, and there's other players that have been sold. So I know there's money there, and there's probably money from all the, the TV rights that we've generated. We were the most highly watched team in England, so I know there's money coming through that. Merchandise, Nike being our sponsors as well. Where's the money? Because I know we made some big sales with our shirts last season. So yeah, that is a big question. Where is the money? And Richard's prediction for the Fulham and United game is 2-2, which is fair enough. Richard says we love 12:30 kickoff, and if you're not learning from last season, yeah. 2 seasons ago, we couldn't win a single game. Last season, I reckon actually improved in regards to midday kickoff. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. And Richard also says VAR needs to improve. You are not wrong. That unfortunately was a big talking point last year in terms of certain outcomes of games. Obviously, Liverpool, I think, were one of the teams that were affected quite a lot with regards to poor officiating and poor decision making from the VAR office. So let's hope so. I don't have too many high hopes with regards to the referees in this country. But yeah, that is just how I feel with regards to that. Richard also says we need a left side centre back, a number 6, and a forward. I'll be happy for a season. Right player in right area. Those are the 3 areas we need to strengthen. So we're not asking for too much. It's quite universal. A lot of us Liverpool fans are saying the same thing. We're not asking for Mbappe level players for each of those positions. We just want the right players for those roles. And they are out there. I'm not buying this, for example, Zubimendi apparently is the only target that we were willing to invest in. There are other defensive midfielders that can do the job as well. It's not Zubimendi or nothing. So I'm not buying that. And I'm hoping FSG are doing some work behind the scene. Or should I say Richard Hughes, because he's been appointed as the sporting director. So it's his responsibility. And right now, he's not delivering. So he's got a lot of work to do. That's his big up. Ozzy did N send you the FPL pin. I haven't checked my messages, to be fair. I'm sure he has. If not, I'll reach out to you later on. Richard saying big up to Daz. Yep, big up Richard as always. Richard says Richard Hughes is a fraud. As it stands, I've probably co-signed that. I do think like he's a fraud. You know, his best mate, Michael Edwards, got a big job and he brought his mate along as well. So that's what it feels like. Might be rude, but that's just how I'm seeing it, because right now we're not seeing any movement whatsoever. I'm doing these weekly transfer talk shows, and it's very hard to try and find transfers to talk about because we're not being linked to many players. So that's not a good sign. Some will say, oh, Liverpool, that's how we do business. We do things behind the scenes. We don't really release too much information to the media, but we're not signing anyone. So we're not getting no surprise signing at the minute. Zubimendi was supposed to be the one coming through the door. He's still at his club. So yeah, it's not looking good. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We still have just over 2 weeks remaining of the transfer window. So hopefully things improve. Richard says, Armstrong is a yes man head coach and needs to challenge FSG. At this stage, I'm not going to point the finger on Arne Slot. I think it's too early to say if he's a yes man or not. He's been hired as a coach. That is his role. He doesn't really have a huge say or a huge influence on who the club sign. His role is just to coach the players that he has in his possession. So I'll hold my judgment for Arne Slot as the season goes on. If we don't sign anyone in this window and then in January as well, then yes. But that's why his title is not manager. He's not managing anything. He is just coaching the players. So if Liverpool don't have a good season, I will put the focus or the blame on Richard Hughes, because it's his responsibility as a sporting director to recruit the best talent around in world football and to facilitate those players for the coach, which is Arne Slot. Arne Slot doesn't have an input in those decision-making there. So he might be part of the process where he might have a say, but it's a transfer committee. So there's a lot of votes, and his vote is not more powerful than the next man. So, yeah. Let's see. At this stage, we can all kind of just make assumptions into what's happening, but right now there's no clear-cut evidence that Liverpool are going to sign a player. Things have gone quiet again, so it's not looking positive. Daz has just commented saying, are they all fit for Saturday, Ozzy? From what I know, yes, everyone is fit. The only player that was 50-50 was Bobby Clark, but obviously he's no longer a Liverpool player and he's departing for Red Bull Salzburg. So other than that, the whole team are fit. So yeah, it's not very common for us to have a full fit squad. So it's a nice feeling to do a match preview and say everyone's available. You always have these sort of long-term injuries in the background. We don't have those players anymore. So yeah, all fit. So hopefully they're all ready to go as well. And Richard says, Julian Ward, Richard Hughes, FSG, Michael Edwards equals mate rates, especially Michael Edwards. Yeah, I'd probably say that's probably right, to be fair. Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, they've been friends from a long time ago. Julian Ward obviously worked alongside Michael Edwards. And FSG obviously facilitated these guys to be appointed in their roles, but they're not delivering. So FSG are at fault because obviously they make the final decision in terms of appointing these individuals in their positions. But Richard Hughes, he wasn't someone that had a big reputation. There were other sporting directors out there that probably would have been better fits. So he's got a lot of work to do. That's what I'm going to say at this stage. Richard said Richard Hughes can't find talent in front of him. Well, that's a concern if that's the case. And he said clubs are improving and we are standing still. Yeah, I would probably say clubs haven't improved drastically for me to be really concerned. I still feel like Liverpool will be challenging for the title, or should I say challenging for a top 4 place. Arsenal have signed Calafiori, which is the player that I really wanted. And they've still got a few more additions to make. Marino, I think, is expected to sign soon as well. City, they've just sold Alvarez, which for me is actually a big loss. I don't feel like people are realizing the impact that he had when he was a Man City player, whether he came off the bench or last season he was playing a number 10 mode, so he was playing different roles and was very effective. So he needs to be replaced in that Man City squad. And I don't feel like they've strengthened that much, if I'm being honest. I still feel like they need another midfielder, someone that could cover for Rodri, because when he was absent from the team, that's when they lost. So clearly shows the impact that he has and what player he is for that team. Yeah, so they probably need another attacker as well. So I'm not too concerned about other teams. I know United are spending a lot of money. I think that's what's probably frustrating us Liverpool fans, where they've got a new owner or part owner, and they're putting the money where their mouth is, where they're actually investing and they're signing decent profile players as well. So I think that's why Liverpool fans are getting worried and they're getting frustrated that we're not showing any ambition in signing players. In terms of United, they've got a history of signing the wrong players. So just because they've signed certain players doesn't mean they're going to be successful. So remember, they've still got Ten Hag as a coach. So things might not change overnight, and it will take time to embed 5 or so players. Because I feel like they will probably sign a couple more. So yeah, long season, but let's see if Liverpool can add 2 or 3 players. That's what we're asking for. Nothing crazy. But yeah. Which also, why did FSG bring new people in if they can't do their job properly? Well, Michael Edwards wasn't new. He was reappointed or rehired because obviously he was a sporting director previously at the club. Julian Ward was rehired by Michael Edwards because obviously he has a superior role. And Richard Hughes is good mates with Michael Edwards, so he hired his friend. So I wouldn't solely blame FSG. FSG have hired someone to do a job. They've hired Michael Edwards to find the right people to make his team, if that makes sense. And he's gone off to get Julian Ward and he's gone off to get his mate. So if they don't deliver, Michael Edwards will have things to answer because it's his responsibility to do so. FSG, as owners, all they can do is give the investment for the projects or the signings to happen. But as of yet, we tried to sign a player. My assumption would be the funds were there, but we just tried to be cheeky by doing lowball tactics by negotiating a release clause. So when you haggle like that, it's going to get rebuffed. So that's the frustrating thing for me. So a player has a release clause, but we wanted to negotiate. That is just ridiculous amateur behavior. And that's what's cost us in not signing Zubimendi because he was ready to come along. And a lot of fans have got quite a few things to say about him in terms of rejecting a move. You know, he said yes, then he went back on his word. I'm hearing rumors that his missus didn't want to leave the country or leave the city, not even the country. So who knows? And at this stage, who cares? The deal's not happening. So for me, not in my forefront in terms of what happened. It's done and dusted. We move on, and hopefully we can acquire some more players going forward. Daz has given his lineup. So the lineup you're seeing on screen is not my lineup. So let me just refresh that so there's no confusion. I was just talking tactics there. So this is my lineup, Daz. If you missed the earlier part of the show. So in terms of your lineup, let's do a comparison. So you've gone for Alisson, Bradley, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, and Robertson. So you've gone for Bradley at right back, and you've gone for Robertson, and then you've gone for Trent and McAllister in midfield. That's interesting. And Ryan Gravenberch, and then you've gone for Salah, Jota, and Darwin left wing. Okay, this is a completely different formation or selection of players from mine. Let's see what Arne Slot selects in this fixture. Which is said FSG are cheapskates and tight. Yeah, they are. I can't even defend them. They are. So yeah, you're not wrong. FSG needs to focus on pitch issues, not outside the pitch. They're businessmen. Let's be honest. That is how they roll. They are businessmen. Obviously taking money from the club. Yeah, they're taking money from the club, probably reinvesting it in other projects. I know they're trying to sign or they're trying to purchase a NBA team. So some will say it's their money, let them do what they want. But when you've invested in a venture like a sports club, you've got to invest on an annual basis. It doesn't just happen where you put a bit of money here and there. It's got to be continuous. So right now, they're not showing that ambition, and that's what's frustrating the Liverpool fan base right now. Which is that we need people for their merit and want to win trophies, their mates and pals. Yeah, that's true. They should have been on merit, but sometimes that's not how it works, unfortunately. Which is that we need a number 6 destroyer, big win, everything strong and powerful. So this is what I would have said early in the season, or should I say early in the transfer window. But based on how we're playing under Arne Slot, I don't think that's the profile he's looking for. I think he wants a number 6 that's a deep playmaker, that's more of a technical player, that can break the lines, that's press resistant. That's the profile that he's after, not just a destroyer. Otherwise, for me, the player that they should be signing is Fofana. He's available for around 20-25 million. He fits the bill perfectly in terms of what you've just described there. But we're not linked to him. Looks like he could be on his way to either Manchester United or AC Milan. That's the current rumor right now. So I don't think that's the profile. That profile would have probably suited Klopp's team, whereas I think Arne Slot had a different approach, different way of playing. Who knows? But at this stage, I just want us to make some additions. We are low in numbers in terms of our squad depth, and I feel like we're probably a few injuries away from really struggling this season. So more quality needs to be added into the squad. Yeah, whether it happens or not remains to be seen, but we'll find out in the coming weeks. And that is the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Richard and Daz for your comments. Appreciate your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing a live watch along for this game. Saturday, I'll be live from 12:20 p.m. UK time. So make sure to tune in. Send your comments in the live chat as we watch the game together. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game for us. And yeah, I'll also be doing a match reaction. Time to be confirmed. So the best thing to do is hit that notification bell on YouTube and also follow me on social media. You can follow me at OZZIE'S on Instagram to watch my other content on TikTok and Thread. You can follow me with the same ID, which is OZZIE'S. So yes, that is it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all on Saturday. Goodbye.